Welcome to Ask Ms. ERP. The topic of this video is internal or external ERP resources. Hello everyone, Ms. ERP here. In video number 15, I discussed how to choose the best implementation partner. Depending on your situation, you may also be interested in how to find the best long-term support provider, who you will probably need to work with for a long time. If you had a bad implementation partner, you will likely be cleaning up that mess for a while, but at least you won't have to work with that provider again. A lot of the concepts I will discuss could also be applied to your ERP product vendor if you are shopping for a new ERP. If you find you need help with something ERP related, the first step would be to define your scope or requirements. Do you need a specific skill? Full-time or not? Advisory work? Or a service of some kind? Typically called a system integrator for implementations, but more commonly called an application managed service provider for ongoing support, or AMS provider. Working through your requirements internally will help you clarify exactly what you are looking for, and whether the role is better suited to an internal resource or not. If it is a sizable piece of work where you will need external resources, then those requirements can be used to do a formal RFP. In video number 24, I described a possible support model, but did not voice an opinion on whether in-source or outsource is to be preferred. In my opinion, a mixed model works best. As with all things, going fully one way or the other on the pendulum has challenges, and finding the right balance might take some time to establish. As a general guideline, if you consider a role to be strategic or critical to your business, I would highly recommend that they be internal staff. Having all of your ERP skills insourced would be wonderful, but then you are responsible for hiring and firing and to ensure that your critical skills have backup and continuity as attrition occurs. You will also need to keep your folks up to date with the current offerings. All doable, but if you have a partner, this will hopefully reduce the risks that come with looking after all the staff yourself. Outsourcing everything doesn't work very well either, as you lose visibility and control on what is happening with your ERP. What I have seen work well is having the more end-user, business-facing resources be internal staff, and then have some external backup support for that team in the form of a service provider, along with the vendor product support. In other words, the more technical the skill, the more likely it is that an outsourced resource or service would be a good fit. Do remember that you will need someone internally with the appropriate knowledge to oversee any outsourced resources to ensure that you are getting good value for the money. If you don't have anyone that knows what your provider is talking about, it is likely that you will A, not get the right work done, and B, get overcharged. You cannot outsource accountability for ensuring that your service provider is actually providing what you need effectively. Assuming that you have determined that you do need some external help, another question that comes up is whether to look at big firms or to think about using a smaller boutique firm. Again, the answer is it depends. If the skills that you are looking for are common, then a big firm likely has all the processes and skills that you need. If the skills that you are looking for are more unique or specialized, my experience is that you will get more value for your money from a boutique firm. Think about it. If you are an individual ERP resource with a specialized skill, would you rather work as a number in a large firm or make more money working for a boutique firm? What I have seen happen is that the big firms end up as training grounds for more junior resources, who then leave once they have the necessary skills to be hired by a boutique firm. Do you want your company to be the training ground for these junior resources who generally have a high turnover? Likely not. The reason that companies do go to the big firms is that it sounds good to your board of directors. It is perceived as a lower risk to rely on a company that has thousands of resources around the world. In my experience, you may pay more for a boutique firm, but you will get better, more personalized service from resources that stay with the firm, which will end up costing you far less in the long term, as you will not need to repeatedly explain your environment to your provider as their resources turn over. Remember that ERPs are complex and unique to each company, so you will likely need specialized skills to look after it. Selecting the right partner should follow a prescribed process, most of which was explained in video number 15. Having your requirements defined will allow you to develop a robust set of evaluation criteria with which to ensure that you are doing the best job possible of selecting the right partner. Examples of these criteria would be company vision. Where are they going and how will you fit in? What is their corporate profile? Things like size, location, and reputation. Are they financially stable? How long have they been in business? Has the form of their business changed drastically over those years? Are they profitable now and in the past? Are their revenues consistent and growing? Most important is, do they have the required experience and the skills that you are looking for? Experience in your industry may or may not be important depending on what you need. You should ask about their resource depth and breadth. How do they keep their resources up to date, and how will they respond to peaks and valleys of demand? How will changes to scope of service be handled? How will the engagement be monitored and the service be measured? Some ideas are in video number 32 if you're interested. How would you exit the agreement if needed? Pricing will also be important, but do not let it be the defining criteria. More important is to understand how it works. Fixed price or variable? And what drives the variable? Usually hours, but find out. Get recommendations and do your research with their other customers. By making the selection a mechanical process, you can eliminate any personal biases and have a fully justifiable decision. Typical ERP partner selection mistakes can hopefully be avoided if you follow these suggestions. The most common is to let your requirements get lost in translation. Always remember to focus on what you need. Other common mistakes are to consider too many vendors, relinquish control of your search, or not vet the vendors completely. All completely avoidable. Hopefully these suggestions will help you pick the absolute best ERP partner for the long term. This concludes the internal or external ERP resources topic. There is a link on askmizerp.com to email me to ask questions or suggest topics for future videos. Or you can just add comments on any YouTube video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks and see you on the next video.